From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. In 1679, the UK Parliament enacted the Habeas Corpus Act, which at the time compelled the king to release prisoners whose imprisonment wasn't justified under the law. The authors of the US Constitution embedded it within Article 1 and included a mechanism for suspending habeas corpus. In cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. Federal courts use a writ of habeas corpus to bring a prisoner before a neutral judge to determine if imprisonment is legal. As part of the crackdown on migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border, President Trump is considering suspending habeas corpus. According to White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, the administration is actively looking at, quote, denying migrants their due process rights by claiming that the U.S. has been invaded. On Friday, Miller told reporters outside the White House the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. Well, why is this important? More than 100 people have been taken into custody by federal immigration officials in a joint operation with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, leaving many in Nashville's immigrant community uncertain and worried. None of us have ever seen anything like this, Lisa Sherman Luna, executive director of the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, said Friday. The operation with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is a reminder of how local and state law enforcement jurisdictions are critical to President Donald Trump's plans for mass deportations. Last week, Florida officials touted a joint operation with ICE that resulted in 1,120 immigration arrests. The Highway Patrol said Friday that it made 588 stops in the joint operation with ICE, which took custody of 103 under investigation for immigration violations. The stops led to the recovery of illegal drugs and firearms, taking dangerous elements off the street and making Tennessee safer, the Highway Patrol said. One person was wanted in a killing in El Salvador. Tennessee's Governor Bill Lee recently signed a law creating a division of immigration enforcement with the state's Department of Safety and Homeland Security, which includes the Highway Patrol. He is one of a number of Republican officials pledging to use state resources to carry out Trump's plans. While Governor Lee's attempted immigration control may appease his right-wing base of supporters, the law itself may be an overreach of his authority. Consider this. States occasionally push back against immigration issues. Arizona enacted Senate Bill 1070 into law back in 2010, and it tried to grant state law enforcement more power in immigration matters. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court wasn't having it. In Arizona v. United States from 2012, the court struck down key parts of the law, reaffirming federal responsibility over immigration matters. In other words, it isn't Tennessee's or Florida's responsibility, nor is it within the state's purview to enact enforcement policies regarding immigration. The bottom line of these two stories is simply this. Neither the president nor his deputy chief of staff, Obersturmführer Miller, nor the states that determine when to suspend habeas corpus and due process. That is Congress's responsibility, and thus far, Congress has done a miserable job at showing any semblance of a spine in standing up to the president's unconstitutional overreach. And now this news from New Jersey. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy plans to reduce the number of flights in and out of the Newark Liberty International Airport for the next several weeks as New Jersey's largest airport struggles with radar outages and other issues, including one Sunday, and flight delays and cancellations due to a shortage of air traffic controllers. Speaking on NBC's Meet the Press, Duffy said he will convene a meeting with all the airlines flying out of Newark this week to determine the reduction, adding that it will fluctuate, with a larger reduction coming in the afternoons when international flight arrivals make the airport busier. The FAA said in a statement last week that it slows the rate of arrivals into Newark to ensure safety when staffing or equipment issues occur. The agency noted that frequent equipment and telecommunications outages can be stressful, prompting some air traffic controllers to take time off to recover from the stress. There has been an average of 34 arrival cancellations per day since mid-April at Newark, according to the FAA, with the number of delays increasing throughout the day from an average of 5 in the mornings to 16 by the evening. They tend to last 85 to 137 minutes on average. The Trump administration proposed a multi-billion-dollar overhaul of the U.S. air traffic control system on Thursday that includes 6 new air traffic control centers and technology and communications upgrades at all of the nation's air traffic facilities over the next 3 or 4 years. That's the news at this hour. Download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go, and subscribe to the PEP Radio channel on YouTube. Time for the local weather forecast here on PEP Radio.